We have the legislative step stool ready. Wow. Colleagues, staff, media, family, and friends, for the last 8 years, I have entered this building and this chamber mindful of how rare and special it is to get to do this work. And today, as I leave this chamber, I carry that same gratitude with me. So I want to begin there with thanks, and then I want to speak to the future of Nebraska. First, I want to thank the people of District 8 for trusting me with this work. I've spent every day here trying to be worthy of the honor and repay you for how you have supported my family and my business over 2 decades. So thank you for the confidence that you've placed in me and letting me be a part of your lives in this way. The greatest asset that anybody can have when you have a job like this is a team that believes in the mission. And I have had the extraordinary privilege of working with some of the most capable, thoughtful, and committed people to ever pass through the doors of this institution. Especially Hannah Murdoch. You are a legend in this building, and everybody knows it. Everybody says that. And I'm so grateful and lucky that you wanted to come and work on this team, and I have been forever changed by your friendship and generosity. Cassie Ross, who's here somewhere, thank you for always taking care of me so that I had the stamina to do this hard work. I'm so proud of you both, and I'm so lucky to call you my friends. Trey Quick, you are on the absolute rise. You are a shooting star, and I will always be here to help you with anything you need in the future. I believe in you so much. You are a star, and I cannot wait to see what comes for you in your future, and I will always be watching you. Also, Dina Kalani, Dave Gottschalk, Kristen Hughes, and the many interns who gave their time and talent to our office, Matt, Anna, Temi, Cleo, Millie, Maggie, Aisha, Sophie, and Casey, all of whom are stars. They came through my office. They're incredible. Thank you. Thank you so much. I also want to thank my mentors as a politician, Senator Ernie Chambers, Senator Paul Shoemaker, who's up here, and Senator Sarah Howard. I have spent 8 years trying to live up to your standards and put into practice what you taught me and be worthy of your pride. I also want to recognize the people who make this institution function every single day, often without adequate gratitude. To the clerk's office, especially Carol Coranda, you deserve so much recognition for your decades of service, and I wish you nothing but peace and happiness. No one deserves it more. And of course, my friend, Mr. Clerk, Brandon Metzler, who I always say has the most important job in Nebraska. I really believe that. To the fiscal office, to the redcoats and troopers who keep us safe, to the members of the press who document this work and hold it up for public view, especially Fred Knapp, Zach Wendling, Andrew Wegley, Chris Dunker, and also Joanne Young and Martha Stoddard and Don Walton. Thank you for your scrutiny and for being the eyes and ears of the people of Nebraska. All of you, this place doesn't run without any of you, and the integrity of the institution depends on your professionalism and your hard work. Finally, to my family and friends, I'm so grateful that my dad and my brother are here today. To my teams back at the shops, to all of my friends who stood behind me through this whole crazy journey, that I didn't ask anybody what they thought about it. I just did it, and here I am, and they were there with me every step of the way. So I want to thank you all for the sacrifices that you had to make so that I could serve, and for believing that this work mattered enough to share that burden with me. I'll never forget that. Thank you. To the people of Nebraska, right now I'm speaking only to you, and to the record that will remain long after our speeches and votes and reputations and names are forgotten. Whenever that time comes, you Nebraskans of tomorrow will still be living in the world that we shaped through our actions in this chamber. As Senator Paul Shoemaker has said to me many, many times, our responsibility is to bring the future into being. It really doesn't just happen. It is designed for you in rooms like this one by people who you may never meet. Those people know that when we design and reinforce a system that rewards fear and anger, you are driven further apart. And that's useful because it makes it easier to codify policies that concentrate opportunity for the most powerful, which results in inequality and a lower quality of life for you. You will inherit the economy we designed that made your life more costly or more affordable, the freedoms that we've chosen to protect or restrict, and the culture of belonging that we have strengthened or weakened. That is the true scale of this work. There's a path that we're on, and it's not hard to see where it leads. Nebraska is kicking the can of fiscal solvency by expanding tax incentives. We have financing structured over decades. We are breathlessly and obsequiously gifting your tax dollars to corporations, all in the belief that more people will come, more businesses will form, and more prosperity will somehow find us. We are pouring our hopes literally into concrete as new towers are rising up from the prairie. And I was talking about this with Paul, with Senator Shoemaker over dinner, and he said we can't forget to ask the most important question. Who is this for? Who is it for? Who's going to come here? Who's going to live in those towers? And I think that's a good question, and I thought about that a lot. Is it going to be young people who hear us say that they deserve less than a minimum wage for their work? Is it going to be immigrants who hear us say that they are criminals who aren't welcome here? Women who hear us politicians say that we know best what they should do with their own bodies? LGBTQ people and their families who hear us say that their belonging in Nebraska is conditional on them staying in the closet? Educators who we constantly accuse of indoctrinating our children for nefarious ends? Researchers and scientists who hear us say that their life's work is not worthy of investment? Who exactly are we building for? Plato said that every government needs a myth to reinforce the system. A legend, a story. His was the legend of Ur, the myth of Ur. In this country, we were born out of a revolution to get rid of a king and replace him with the radical idea that the power belonged to the people. And this happened relatively recently in world history. And the story goes that in a democracy paired with a market economy, individuals could rise through hard work, through talent and effort, that would be rewarded, and that anyone from anywhere could build a good life here in this country. That story has always drawn people to the United States, to Nebraska, especially immigrants who are willing to take a risk in the pursuit of something better. But we should be honest, for many people that story still remains a myth. And when the reality people experience in their real lives diverges too far from the origin myth that we tell them, we get to where we are today with more division and inequality than there has ever been in any of our lifetimes. In this country, we helped people around the globe who were once separated tear down the walls and bridge rivers that for centuries divided them. For example, today it's possible to travel from Poland to Italy without so much as a border checkpoint. And the Channel has become the Channel, uniting Britain and France. In exchange for that help and diplomacy, the people of Europe bestowed upon us the great honor and responsibility of conducting international trade and holding their national reserves in our currency. We promoted democracy to the world, the checks and balances and the stability of our three branches of government, divided power in Congress, the supremacy of precedent-based law, the secure rights of the individual, and the ease of voter access in full and fair elections. But in the last decade, that foundation has been stress-tested and it has cracked. Today, the dominance of people and nations, the bullying of minorities, the banishment of the different, the moral cleansing of society, and the chance of the lynch mob all thrill the psyche of the self-proclaimed righteous who find it fulfilling to believe that they might be among the chosen ones, to be at the top. And there's a seductive idea at the center of this that if everyone believes what you believe, or can be forced to by law, then it must be true. It must be right. What happened to the idea that we should allow trade to cross borders so that armies do not? to the idea that global markets allow Nebraska farmers and manufacturers to sell to the entire world, to the idea that immigration has brought us some of our brightest entrepreneurs, doctors, and teachers. What happened to the idea that research and science can conquer disease, feed the hungry, solve the problems of tomorrow that we cannot even yet see or comprehend or understand? Or the radical idea that talent and genius is everywhere, all across Nebraska, in every city, in every town, in every village, even if opportunity is not. Somewhere along the way we sinned. We lost confidence in that origin story. Nebraskans of tomorrow, I hope that you can see that even in moments of contraction and decline, there were voices insisting on expansion, and that in times of great division, there were voices insisting that we still belong to one another. As Nebraskans and as Americans, we are still nothing more than people riding together on a small blue planet, on borrowed time, in made-up institutions that we just invented. We are not an island, and the whole world will move forward, interconnected, pluralistic, innovative, whether we do or not. The Nebraska of tomorrow will either have grown because we embraced the future or calcified because we feared it. In 2020, I think it was 2020, I was leading a filibuster on something. I don't know, it doesn't matter. And we didn't end up blocking the bill. So, I felt like I wasn't successful. I was upset. And I had been distracted and irritated throughout the entire debate because Senator Chambers was not on the floor helping. And so it was a lot more work than I had ever had to do. And I was exhausted. I did everything right, but by the time it was over, I felt like I got hit by a bus. I felt awful. And I was upset because we lost. And after the bill passed, lo and behold, look who's here. Senator Chambers comes through the door here, and he walks right up to my desk, and he comes over to me and he says, "So how are you feeling?" And I said, "Well, pretty bad. We lost, and I'm mad." And he gently said, "But did you do everything you could do?" And I said, "Well, yes." And he said, "Well, then how can anybody ask any more of you than that?" And the way it just brought my temperature down. But I said, "Where were you? Where were you during all that? In your office?" Because I believed wrongly I know now, that part of the reason we lost was because he wasn't helping me. And I asked him that, and he put his hands on my shoulders, and he came eye level with me. And he said, "I didn't come up here and help because I needed to know that you could do that when I'm gone." Senator Chambers has a saying that has become a mantra for me, and many of you know it, success is doing what's available for me to do. Success is doing what's available for me to do. You don't always win, but you can be an extraordinary agent for change by doing whatever it takes to make a little progress, to bring the future into being. That's all we have to do with our time here. That's all I think I have to do with my time anyway on this earth. So, District 8, thank you for 8 years. I wish I could do more, but I can't believe you let me do any at all. I never meant for any of this to happen. I think my ambition got away with me, and then it became like the only way out is through, and now I'm through. And it's a very wild place to be. I'm so full of gratitude, and I can tell you, Nebraskans of tomorrow and the people of my district, I have done everything I can do to be worthy of this gift. Thank you.